Am I recording? Oh, I guess I am. Usually there's like a stall, and then my hands would be there. But, anyway, hey guys, DaceSpace here, and, as probably none of you know, my favorite TV show in the entire world last night came back on, Lost. The final season, and let me tell you something, I claimed it. I said the first thing that's gonna happen is they're gonna show previously on Lost, and then they're gonna go to the bomb blowing up, and the next thing we're gonna see is the plane flying over the island. I called it. Although I didn't think that they would still be on the island. So there's a double take thing there. And if you haven't watched the show, sucks, you've already been spoiled. If you haven't watched it, wait, go watch it on iTunes. Don't watch this video. Yeah. So this is probably gonna be a really long recap, and if you haven't watched Lost ever, I would might as well just turn this video off. I know some of you care, some of you don't. So the first thing that happened was we saw Juliet in the crater, or whatever you want to call it, the big hole where they were building the swan hatch, and you see her and she's trying to come on, you son of a bitch, and then she hit the bomb. The screen turns white. Instead of seeing Lost like we did last season, we see like blue starting to appear, like clouds, and then it comes in through the window, and it's Jack sitting there, and the waitress on the plane comes over and says, "How's your drink?" And he goes, "It's alright," and she says, "It's not a very strong reaction," and he's like, "It's not a very strong drink." She gives him the alcohol that helped fix the guy who did something in the first season. You kind of see all the people, what would have happened if that plane would have actually flew over the island. And you see Bernard come back from the bathroom because Rose was by herself, and you see, what else did we see right away? That was pretty epic. Nothing, really. Then, right after that happened, we see, that was a pretty long clip, and I'm not going to go into every detail. Next thing we see happen was, the camera kind of goes out of the plane. It goes like out through the window, down towards the ocean that they're flying over, and then the camera kind of splashes into the ocean, and then we see all these like special effects through like the water, and then you see the big giant foot statue and like parts of the island like underwater, and then it cuts to commercial, and we're like, what just happened? So the entire island is apparently underwater. I guess that could have happened. I don't know how. And then we come back from commercial, and Kate's like stuck in something. Like she's like stuck in a, I don't know what she's stuck in. She's stuck in some of the rubble, I think, from the Swan. And it sounds like they're underwater, and their ears are ringing because of the hydrogen bomb that blew up, and they don't know what happened. And Miles comes out. She like attacks Miles, and then Sawyer comes out with Jack, and then because we saw Jack on the plane, so we're like, why is Jack on the island? And then Sawyer comes out and tries to basically kill Jack because it didn't work and they didn't make it off the island. Then you hear like whining. You hear Juliet down in the swan hatch, still alive. She's centimeters away from a hydrogen bomb that she just hit and blew up. So Sawyer climbs down there. She's all covered in blood and stuff. I know this is skipping. There's some other stuff in between here, but this is the major thing that happened down there. She goes, "Kiss me," and he goes, to be cool Sawyer, he goes, "You got it, Blondie." And then, you know, they kiss, and then she goes, I have to tell you something really important. Then, of course, she dies. Now, Miles also has the ability to hear the last thoughts of the dead. Yeah, you know, that's not weird at all. So, he comes back up. They have to save Saeed, who I don't remember what happened to him. I think the Dharma Initiative shot him because he tried to escape with Ben. And, so they have to take Saeed to the temple, which is probably just a whole bunch of... They take him there, and there's a whole bunch of Jacob worshippers. But that's not the point. Anyway, so she dies, but Miles can hear the last thoughts of the dead, and the last thing that Juliet wanted to tell him which is a huge deal, believe it or not. The last thing she wanted to say to him was, "It worked." So I think, now this is a theory, is once they die now on the island, they're gonna go back to that plane simulation, and we're gonna see what would happen. Back to the plane. I know this might happen somewhere else in the episode. I don't remember the order. I should have took notes, and I think I'm gonna start taking notes. What happened? Yeah. So the page goes off after they've made it over the island and all that. You hear the paging go off on the plane, and the plane, the lady who's supposed to make announcements for the captain says, "If there's a doctor on board, please hit your call button." And of course, Dr. Shepard, Jack Shepard, who's a spinal surgeon, comes over there. And of course, who we see is Charlie doing his heroin in the bathroom. Charlie's not dead. Yay! Yeah, so Charlie's not dead. And, well, he is. He's not breathing, and he's choking on drugs and stuff. So he gets the pen, which the pen is a big symptom, because that's how they saved like half the people in the first episode, in the first season, was shoving pens and getting things out of their throats and stuff. Jack puts a pen down, gets whatever out of his throat, and then, of course, he's a jackass. Charlie is, and he goes, "You weren't supposed to do that, man. I was supposed to die." Man, I can't do any voices. I just sound like Lindsay Lohan. And so he goes, "I was supposed to die," and then yeah. Then we go over to Locke, who's also sitting on the plane, and Locke's in his wheelchair, and he's actually Locke. He's not Mr. X or whatever we want to call Jacob's rival. He comes over to. He's sitting with Boone, and Boone says he talks about how he went to go get his sister. Now, this is really weird, and I think his sister's name was Shannon. Yeah, it was Shannon, right? Anyway, his sister's not on the plane, which is very, very strange, because she was on the plane, she crashed, she was a bitch on the island, and blah, blah, blah. She kind of died off pretty quick. It's ironic, though, because Boone says to Locke, "If the plane goes down, I'm sticking with you," which is what happened in a thing. What else happened on the plane? Let's just stay on the plane for now. What else did we see? We saw something else happen. I just remembered it. Kate's with the officer. What's his face? Sawyer's there. Saeed pulls out a thing for Nadia. There was something else that happened on that plane. Anyway, before I forget this, part of the episode, we also go into the story of what happened with Jacob. Well, I'm going to run out of time. I'm going to go right to the break, guys, pretty much. Yeah, so the person who's inhabiting Locke, which is, now we know, the smoke monster, who is the nemesis of Jacob, he killed Jacob using Ben to kill him. Locke is dead. Like, Locke's actually dead. But he kind of, like, then he walked out and stuff. Like, he walked up and he goes, "I don't believe it." So now there's like 2 Locks on the island. I don't know what's going on. And, what else happened? I think that was pretty much it, guys. Something happened with Jack in the temple. They drowned Saeed. That was the worst death I've ever seen on this show. It was horrible. It just kind of ruined. Usually their deaths are more dramatic and better, but anyway. Yeah, so it was a pretty good show. I loved it. The other people in my household who watch it said it was boring. I was like, it's not boring. It's finally wrapping some stuff up. We know who the smoke monster is. I've got 30 more seconds. And that was a great episode, guys. I know I missed a lot, and I think I'll plan this out a little better for next week's episode, which I hope is also 2 hours, but it won't be. So keep watching my videos. If you guys like Lost, subscribe. Thank you. Peace out. 15 more seconds. 10 more seconds now. Okay.